Okay, now I'm ready. Hey guys, I'm Kashawn and you are watching the Book Archer. As you can tell, this is a different hairstyle from my normal hairstyle in the other videos. Yeah, it's a lot. I just wanted to do something different. Now let's get on to the good stuff. This video is going to be my October wrap up and my November TBR. October was like my worst reading month. I had a lot of stuff going on personally, a lot of stuff so I didn't get a lot of reading done and I was in a huge reading slump. I didn't read my first book until October 17th. I only read 3 books. And child, I barely read those. And I usually read between like 6 and 10 books. But we're going to jump right into it. So the first book that I read, Heir. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this. You guys know I love the Throne of Glass series. This is the 3rd installment. And I have a full review video on this book already on my channel. I will link that below as well as my Throne of Glass review. And the first 4.5 minutes of my Heir review is spoiler free, whether you haven't started the series or whether you haven't gotten to this point in the series. So be sure to check that out. Okay, the second book that I read this month is Looking for Alaska by John Green. I recently picked this up and you will see this in an upcoming haul that I have very shortly in like a week or so. I'm waiting for some other stuff to come in the mail. But yes, this is my second John Green book that I've read and I really enjoyed this. It was a lot different from what I was expecting. I really didn't have too many expectations because I didn't really read the synopsis. I tend not to read the synopsis on books that I'm reading that are contemporary for some reason. This book was actually really good. It definitely made me think a lot and had me thinking deeply about the great perhaps. And if you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. This was a short read. It's only about 220 or so pages. So if you haven't picked up a John Green book yet, then I do recommend this one. I did like it. The last and final book that I read for the month of October was The Archived by Victoria Schawb. I think that's how you pronounce that. And this is the first book in like a trilogy or a series or something like that. I'm not sure how many books it's supposed to be. Side note, Victoria Schawb, I believe, is the same author who wrote Vicious, except it's published as V.E. Schawb. So I'm like 90% sure that's the same author. And a lot of people like that book, so who knows, I might pick that up. But I really ended up loving this. This was so different than I thought it was going to be. I didn't have like too many expectations. I honestly just picked it because it wasn't that long. And I did want some more fantasy because I'm really in like a fantasy mood. This is basically a fantasy book, but it is definitely still involved in like the real world. You find that out at the beginning of the book that her younger brother has passed away. And her family is moving and she is basically what they call, she's a keeper, I guess, a keeper of like histories, but histories are kind of like ghosts in a sense. This book like creeped me out like a little bit. Like it wasn't scary at all, but it definitely had its creep factor moments. At one point I was reading it in the middle of the night and I was like, okay, I'm starting to get creeped out a little bit. Hold on, let me move my camera. But I really enjoyed it. There's a second one out called The Unbound and I'm going to pick that up. That will be something that I read very soon because we're about to talk about my November TBR. Okay, so my goal for November is to finish series that I am currently reading or catch up to whatever, current ones are printed. Obviously, I just mentioned The Archived. I definitely would like to read The Unbound, which is the second book after that one. I read Cinder already, but I still have yet to read the rest of the Lunar Chronicles because I was going to purchase the next 2 books, which I probably still will do, but I already have Scarlet and Cress in my possession from the library, so I'll be reading these 2 because the last and final book, Winter, is coming out soon, so I want to be caught up for that. I also need to read Prodigy. I read Legend already. This is the second book in the Legend trilogy, and then I need to purchase Champion, so then I'll have those 3 because Legend's like back there somewhere. Like I said in my classics video, I will be reading 1 classic a month. So my first classic that I'm going to be adding to my monthly TBR, this one is going to be The Catcher in the Rye. One of my booktube friends, hey, he suggested this one, and when I talked about this on Instagram as well, follow me at The Book Archer. By the way, I'll leave the links down below. They mentioned Catcher in the Rye was one of their favorite classics too, so I'm like, okay, I'll definitely pick that one up as well. So yeah, what books did you guys read in October? Let me know in the comment section down below. What books are you reading for November? And have you read any of the books mentioned in this video? If so, what were your thoughts on them? All that good stuff. Alright, bye! Thank you for checking out my October wrap up and November TBR. I will talk to you guys really soon with some more videos.